Ever had that gut punch feeling, like the city itself is holding its breath, waiting for the impossible to happen, knowing full well you shouldn't get your hopes up, but somehow, this time, maybe just maybe, it's different? The air in Detroit feels thick with anticipation, the kind that makes your skin crawl and your heart skip beats in a dead silence just before a storm breaks loose. They've been counting down for 6 long, soul-crushing months through the empty days and endless nights where the pain of loss. Season still lingers like a shadow stretching over the city's bones. And then, without warning, the cage door swings wide open. The roar of helmets clashing and pads thudding bursts back into life. And beneath it all, a name whispers louder than the rest. A name that sends a shiver up every Lions fan's spine. Aiden Hutchinson. Light up the comments if you feel that fire rekindling deep in Detroit's heart. If you believe that this is more than just a first day of training camp observation, it's a signal flare that hope, real hope, is clawing its way out of the ashes. Insiders have been whispering, hushed talks behind closed doors as the Lions' defensive line begins to take shape again. A caged beast stirring from the depths after a brutal season marked by broken bodies and shattered dreams. Executives are holding their breath because Aiden Hutchinson, our warrior, our first-round promise, the soul of Detroit's defensive future, has stepped back onto the field, looking sharper, faster, more ferocious even than before that heart-stopping moment. When the end of September horror of a broken leg ripped through the city and left us all gasping in disbelief. This isn't just a comeback, it's a reckoning. Hutch's return is more than returning flesh and bone to the battlefield. It's about reclaiming what was stolen, piecing together the shattered hopes of a defense desperate to roar again. And yes, alongside him, there's Marcus Davenport, a man whose name has been met with equal parts skepticism and longing 2 games last year. A teetering flame that could either ignite the pass rush or die in the cold. But right now, at this crucible of camp, they stand as brothers on the edge, promising a rebirth for Detroit's defensive front that could shake the very foundations of opposing offenses. From the ashes of heartbreak since '91, from the endless cycle of rebuilding and falling apart, this is Detroit saying, we're not done. We're fighting back. What if this duo reshapes everything? What if their pressure finally unlocks? The chaos we've been craving, the sacks that make quarterbacks tremble and fan hopes skyrocket? What if their synergy delivers decades of pent-up frustration? Years of watching drives go, unpunished, finally vented in a roar that rattles the windows of Ford Field. The questions hang heavy in the smoky air of Detroit's comeback spirit, but here's the raw truth. The offensive line, that bulwark we've depended on for so long, is in flux. It's a brutal echo of the Lions' past battles with injury and uncertainty, a reminder that being ready is not just about skill, but about timing and opportunity. What if Hooker can't seize that moment? What if the backup quarterback carousel spins faster than we anticipate? Meanwhile, the injury bug strikes again with second-year quarterback Anders Rakestraw Jr. His chest contusion sending another ripple of concern through the fan base restless for stability and growth. Bruised, battered, a rookie fighting through the storm, he symbolizes the fragile hope for the future that this team clings to like a lifeline. Detroit's pain is etched in these moments. The fragile threads that bind raw talent, grit, injuries, and hope into a tapestry as unpredictable as the city itself. So here we stand, Lions family, at the dawn of day one, with hearts aching but poised, eyes wide open, watching every move, every snap, every breath. The fuse is lit beneath this restless team, beneath the men who wear our city's colors and carry its burdens. And if Hutch's return is the first stone dropped into this pond, then the ripples will reach farther than any of us dare imagine. Because if this moment hits right, the city doesn't just get a comeback. Detroit gets its reckoning. And now, I'm asking you, what do you feel? Is that flame in your chest just hope's breathing? Or is it a wildfire waiting to blaze? Drop your voice. Let the world hear it. Because this story is just beginning. And if this domino falls, you won't believe who's next. Enough silence. Roar now or forever be forgotten. Because this is the moment Detroit has waited for since that dark cursed 0-16 nightmare that haunted us like a ghost in Ford Field, when hope was so fragile it shattered at the slightest touch, leaving fans clinging to broken dreams and hollow memories of Barry Sanders weaving through defenses, Calvin Johnson soaring into the stratosphere with every catch, and Jim Caldwell's brief reign promising stability just before the wheels fell off again. We've watched our legends leave, suffer injuries, retire, and even walk away with their heads bowed, knowing deep down the city's pain runs just as deep as our resilience watching Orlovsky scramble for his life, clutching those fleeting moments when the line gave him just enough protection, longing for a glory that seems forever out of reach, while the ghost of past playoff collapses still echoes through the cold nights, haunting us with what might have been. But now, here we are at the dawn of a new chapter, standing on the brink of something potentially legendary, yet terrifying in its uncertainty, because Detroit's own salvation hinges on the unthinkable. Hutchinson's comeback, Davenport's breakout, and a line that refuses to be broken, even as injuries, doubt, and past failures threaten to drown us once more. This is the fight to reclaim our pride, to shatter the chains of despair that have tethered us to the bottom for too long, when the city held its breath every September, praying that this year might finally break the cycle of heartbreak. Can Hutch do what we've desperately hoped for? Not just return, but dominate. Can Davenport unlock a pass rush that can turn buried hopes into roaring victories? Our offensive line, a patchwork quilt of hope and despair. Decker, Glasgow, Mahogany, Rich, Payne, Sue. These names echo as symbols of the chaos and the promise, fighting to hold the line behind the flashes of Tim Patrick, realigning the offense into something dangerous again. Look, we've seen this script before: injuries decimating our star players, rookies fighting through the chaos, the voice in every Lions fan's head whispering, is this finally the year to crack the code? What if it isn't? What if the weight of history crushes this moment before it can even fully take flight? And yet, every fiber in our being screams yes, because Detroit's strength has always been in its comeback stories, in rising like a phoenix from ashes scorched by disappointment and presumed defeat. Remember how far we've come, how we survived the dark days of the Jim Schwartz shuffle, the gut-wrenching playoff losses that came so close yet fell short, the constant battle to be relevant in a league that's always looking for the next shiny toy. Last year's playoff push rekindled a flicker of belief, yet beneath it all lurked that same edge of doubt. Would we crumble again? Would everything unravel when it mattered most? Now, just as the narratives threaten to settle into familiar patterns of heartbreak, Hutchinson's return is more than just a player coming back from injury. It's a warning shot. This team is awakening, hungry, desperate to prove we're still alive in this brutal game of football. The NFC North rivals are already trembling at the thought of a Detroit resurgence. Bears, Vikings, Packers all worried that we may not just shake the standings, but tear them apart. Every game plan, every mind game, every strategic gambit battering. Our front office's table is a chess move rooted in fear, because they see what we see: the potential to flip the script, to forge a formidable defense led by the unstoppable Hutchinson, fueled by the relentless Davenport, and bolstered by a secondary hungry to silence doubters. But the specter of doubt still lingers. What if the injury bug bites again? What if the line crumbles under relentless pressure? Will Hooker find the magic he needs, or is he just another hopeful waiting to be forgotten? Will Tim Patrick blossom into the game-changing weapon we so desperately need, or will injuries wall him off from destiny? The stakes could not be higher. This isn't just football. This is Detroit's bloodline, our pride etched into every yard, every tackle, every touchdown. We're at a crossroads, with destiny leaning perilously close, because what if, in this critical moment, all the stars align for us to finally rise? And what if they don't? And yet, amidst all the chaos, one question pulsates in the Detroit night: are we ready to let the world witness the rebirth, or will fear drown out the roar that's finally trying to wake up?